So I have one more thing to mention. Oh, and yeah, this is a spine behind me, um, with the pelvis attached. I've got the skull too, which also actually validates my expertise and position as the expert because I have the real McCoy, the real bones to refer to. So I have something I want to show you that I agree with partially with Rayner's message, and something to interject. Here we go.
Better to own that movement, and the only way to do that is to continue to move on your own and do exercise.
However, spinal manipulation alone does not address the underlying issues and can lead to a dependence on chiropractic care. Effective healing typically requires patient participation, usually through prescribed exercises, and any responsible chiropractor should either provide these or refer patients to appropriate specialists within a comprehensive healthcare system. Keep in mind, the healing may also include lifestyle changes so that your lifestyle reflects the body you want to have. That is, active, mobile, and flexible. That way, you won't need realigning. You'll already be aligned, bro. What's the saying? I stay ready so that I don't have to get ready. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to leave us a comment.
So, he's right about, staying active. I also talk about exercise, specific exercise, in order to hold the joints in place, hold the bone in place while it heals. And I do the deep tissue work like Come On Dragon does in a sense, but Raymond Nimmo was credited with that, actually, who was taught by my grandfather. So the deep tissue acupressure here in the West also went through my grandfather, through Grandpa, from Dan Coombs, a medical doctor / chiropractor in Kansas City, Missouri. So I do that too. But what Rayner's missing, and what Grandpa always said, what Rayner says is that I stay aligned in order so that I don't have to be aligned. There's a problem with that. And he doesn't understand human anatomy to make that comment. Well, Grandpa always told me, he said that the problem, the true subluxations, are the pelvis out of place in relation to sacrum, which is supporting the base of the spine, and the head, the heavy head, which weighs 10 to 15 pounds on top of the spine. If it's slightly dislocated, partially, dislocated or subluxated, and yes, subluxation is accurately defined as a partial dislocation. It's not a chiropractic subluxation, because a chiropractic subluxation is a vertebral subluxation, and that is historic. I blogged about that, and I've fought over that for at least 20 years. And I might have even talked to this guy. It's highly likely. All I know is that I found a surgeon. He was in California. He stopped on the top of a hillside when I was looking for an expert to come tell the court here what chiropractic was. And I don't know, I can't remember his name. I'm horrible with names. But I can tell you within 5 minutes' time, and he had an axe to grind with the chiropractors. But when I spoke to him about my expertise, within 5 minutes' time, he's kind of, he had his epiphany as well. He said, wow, he said, you could actually validate chiropractic. And what their contingent, or their argument was, is that chiropractors did not have a legitimate reason to be in practice because the reason why they were doing what they were doing didn't exist. And when I told him that, I affected the nervous system by taking the literal stress off of the central nervous system by correcting the position of the head on top, versus what chiropractic did was focus on the spinal column, he recognized the significance of what I had. Yeah. And that was his response. Wow. He said, you could actually validate chiropractic. I told him, I said, yeah, I could if they listened to me. I said, I doubt that they'll listen to me, though. Anyway, so what Grandpa told me, he said the problem with these bones being partly dislocated like they are, and it's the pelvis and the head. He said there is no muscle in the body that can actually position the bones back to where they belong. So, with that said, you have to get outside yourself in order to have it corrected. And what he taught me to do was to place the pelvis into a proper articulation with the sacrum, which levels the sacrum, takes the stress off of the spine. There is no tilt, no distortion, no reason to distort. And then, of course, place the heavy head to perfect center, which, again, takes the stress off the spine. There is no reason for the spine to distort. So, what the chiropractors called a vertebral subluxation through history, and that definition changed through time. But Grandpa said there is no such thing as a partial dislocation of a vertebra. He said, there's a twist, a distortion, and, compensation for the bookends being off. And there is no muscle to position the head, and there is no muscle to position the pelvis back into the proper articulation. So you have to get outside yourself in order to get the problem fixed. Hence, that's where I come in. Or anybody that actually knows what they're doing. But Grandpa was the one that figured it out. And he made the effort to teach them, but nobody really wanted to do it right. Ultimately, like I said before, it comes down to the bottom line of the practitioner. And when I went down to Oklahoma City in 3 months' time, I was working in the then Acupuncture College of America, which became the Oklahoma Healing Arts Institute. Like I said, their repeat business fell off to next to nothing. Ultimately, they're telling me they depend on the repeat business. Like this guy here is saying, oh, well, they're just taking your money. Well, it's a scathing indictment of our healthcare industry if that is, their answer when, the truth comes out. And this guy here, if he refuses to acknowledge me and refuses to, do anything about the problem, and I'll go ahead and flip it to what he said. I'll let you hear what he has to say about, the fanboys, whatever. And I'm not, but here we go.
The channel, make sure that YouTube didn't unsubscribe you. We are now on our way to over 700,000 subs, so we don't want to lose any of you interns along the way. If you didn't like the video, chiropractic fanboys, I'm talking to you, be sure to let me know why in the comment section down below. I read as many comments as I can, and we use your feedback to make our videos better for you, even the fanboys. And don't forget to follow my gym, Human 2.0.
So there you have it. Even the fanboys, whatever. So he would basically cater to, the ones that didn't like his video. But will he say anything to the one or acknowledge the person that is in the middle ground? I am in between, And no, I am not a part of the comprehensive healthcare system because they have refused to actually do the right thing. They're more interested in collecting the fees for licensing and, receiving the dirty money and, from the people that are stealing from the public. All I know is that I think it was in 1999, I happened to be in the right place at the right time. I walked into the commissary at the Vance Air Force Base, and the big TV in there in the lobby. And what they were saying is that the healthcare industry was the biggest lobbyist in Washington. I think $93 million were spent that year in order to basically buy their place in the future. And he's part of that. So the dirty money is running, and it's thick. I don't know enough about it, but I know that the powers that be, the lobbyists, and, all the stealing your money is going on from the medical industry, the chiropractic industry, the osteopathic industry, the massage industry, anybody who I've helped, and believe me, I've worked on several practitioners, and they refuse to refer to their patients, or they do, and then they don't because they, quote-unquote, need the repeat business. It's all a fraud. It's all a fraud. And it's up to you to find me at this point in time. I've been, singing this song for a long time, and I'm getting tired. But I'm also very persistent.